everybody, welcome back to Taji's World of Books and welcome to another book series recommendation video. Hey you guys, welcome back. So I am continuing on with my deep dive into Jodi Ellen Malpas. She is a very hit or miss author for me. As you know, there were a couple of books that she wrote that I have This Man right here, and I absolutely loved it. It was one of the first series of Jodi Ellen Malpas, or Gem, I'm gonna call her from now on, that I read, and I was like, went crazy for it like mostly everybody else. I absolutely loved it. And so I purchased or picked up several of her other books and hadn't gotten around to them. They've been sitting on my shelves for quite some time, and so I wanted to check them out. And the two, The Protector and Gentleman Sinner, they were crap. I just didn't like them at all. So I was like, oh my gosh, I've got all these books now by Jen. Worried that I'm not going to like them. And I've heard other people say that it's hit or miss for them. So I went into this very trepidatiously. But, you know, you guys, it was really cool. I was really pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed the series that I read. And the last one that I'm going to talk about, I absolutely loved it. So The Forbidden, I'm not going to talk too much about this particular book because I think you need to go into this relatively blind. So what I'm going to say about this is it's about a girl named Annie. And Annie has never experienced a spark with a guy before in her life. Like, she just hasn't had that until she goes out on a night on the town with her friends. They decide that she's like going to go off, and as like they say in the UK, she's going to get totally pissed. And she absolutely does that. And she meets this guy and she has a one-night stand with him. She's never done this before, but she has that sort of connection to him, and it's just breathtaking, and she just can't ignore it, and she's never had that. And her friends really encourage her to have this, but at the same time, they're really shocked that she actually is going to go through with it, and she does just that. She has a one-night stand with him. She hooks up with him, and she is an architect, and she doesn't know anything about him. They hook up in a hotel. He wants to go back to her place. She goes, no, because she doesn't want him to know where she lives. And he doesn't want her. He's like, my place is too far. He's like, so let's just go to a hotel. So they go to a hotel that's like near the bar that they hook up at, or they meet at. They have a hookup, one night stand, and she sneaks out the next morning, and they've got no way to contact each other. He doesn't know her. She doesn't know him. They don't really even know names. I think she uses like an alias or like something like, you know, whatever. And she never expects to see him again until she does. And it is, whoo, this is intense. Let me say that this book is not going to be for everyone because there's some stuff in here that some people feel very strongly about. It is not a trigger for me. I don't care about this particular topic because this is a work of fiction, and it is, you read it, the stuff that we read in books, I am able to suspend reality. I am able to compartmentalize and put it on a shelf. Clearly the things, I'm a dark romance reader, so clearly the things that I read in dark romance, if anybody ever did anything like that to me, or anybody that I love, or my friends, or even if I didn't know them and I just heard about it, I would be pissed. I'd be like, this is absolutely unacceptable, but this is a work of fiction. I also like to watch crazy shows where they're like Vikings, like, you know, pillaging and stealing and murdering and doing all kinds of stuff, and I would never condone that in reality. It's a work of fiction, and I don't not watch it because I'm like, well, I'm against violence. Like, no, I watch it anyway, like whatever. So this is the same thing. There's some things in this book that some people don't read because they don't like it. It's upsetting to them. And I'm not going to say anything about that. Like, everybody is different, and everybody has different things that trigger them, hence why we talk about safe reading. So just check out the trigger warning. It's not even a trigger warning. Just check out, if you are not upset about being spoiled or knowing what's going on in a book, check out what this book is about before reading it to make sure that this is not a topic or a subject matter that's sensitive for you. So, having said that, I particularly thought that this book is a overall 5, and because of the angst that was going on in this book, this is a 5. It is so angsty. It's so angsty. And the spice is a 3. And it's, you know, it's about trust, it's about respect, it's about honesty, it's about forgiveness, it's about damaged people, you know, and mental health issues and making wrong decisions and feeling trapped, and it's got a lot. It packs a punch, and it's got a lot in it, and it's one of the first Jodi Ellen Malpas since the This Man series that I was like, damn, this is good. This was really good, so I enjoyed it. So then the next series that I read is The Controversial Princess, and her father, it's the monarchy, right? And it turns the monarchy on its head, in essence. This is about Adeline, and Adeline has a strong personality. She's a princess, she's the daughter, she's got 2 other brothers, and she refuses to bow to anybody. She's gonna do what she wants, when she wants to, how she wants to, and she doesn't give a shit about what anybody says. Not even her father, like anybody. She's just doing her thing. So she has a birthday party, and at the birthday party, her father during the war was friends with an American GI. That American GI later became a senator, and that senator now has a son. And so she meets, and his name is Josh Jameson. And Josh Jameson is a famous U.S. actor, and he is like a heartthrob and well known throughout the world for his, his looks and his acting prowess. So when she meets Josh Jameson, she's like, Josh Jameson's at my party, like, woo, like, I guess it would be like equivalent to like what Brad Pitt was like back in the day. Like, he was like just amazing and gorgeous and like whatever. So they meet, and right away, like, he senses that she is like a renegade and she doesn't want to be told, but at the same time, he has got a dominant streak. And so this book plays and toys with BDSM elements. And Adeline meets her match with Josh Jameson, and because she's a party girl, she refuses to bow to anyone. Her father wants her to get married. She's just not going to do it, and she embarks on this relationship with Josh, and Josh is just going to hand her ass and then some. And she wants it, though. She wants to be in the bedroom, to be dominated, and to have somebody make her go to her knees and to like spank her ass and make her yield, and she is asking for all of it. He's not going to make her do anything that she doesn't want to do, but he senses that she wants to do it, and he senses that there's a push and pull, and so he absolutely pushes her to the next level to take her to that place, and she totally allows him to do it. And so it's the question really comes up in this book is, how is she going to balance her royal status with dating a U.S. guy that's a commoner, that's an actor, and is she going to give up everything for him? And even will the monarchy and the establishment even allow her to do that, because they closely curtail her lifestyle? So he's like, Josh is kind of like, how do I date the most famous woman in the world that's the most heavily guarded and the most protected? Well, I can't. I have to, like, she's got to be part of this conversation in order for this to work, because I can't even get to her in a way that I want to get to her. And obviously there are people that are working behind the scenes to prevent this relationship from happening in many, many ways. And so there's a lot of obstacles that are put in their place and to prevent them from moving forward and embarking on a relationship. And so they have to overcome all those obstacles, both internally within the relationship and coming from externally. So overall, like, the trope is that this is a forbidden romance. And this overall, I gave it a 5. Angst-wise, I gave it a 4. And spice-wise, I gave it a 4. Some of that BDSM stuff was spicy and sexy, and it was really good. Okay, the sequel to this, I'm not going to talk about too much because it is the sequel to this, but I am going to say that there are unexpected changes that come up that are significant, that leave you on a cliffhanger in the last book, and that really pick up immediately here, and you're just like, what the hell is happening? And so in this book, there are lies and family secrets that are revealed, deception and deceit, personal gains, personal goals, personal aims, like what's good for me regardless of what's good for you. Everybody has an agenda, and whose agenda is going to come out on top, and what really ultimately is going to happen, and can the relationship survive, and is there a relationship, and what's going to happen as a result of this. And so this series is called the Smoke and Mirror series, and the reason it's called the Smoke and Mirrors is because all the bullshit that happens over here that comes out, and it makes you go like, damn, those royals, they are harboring some stuff like behind the scenes. Like, it is just highly packed with drama and very, very interesting, and I absolutely loved it. And so overall, I gave it a 5. Angst-wise, I gave it a 5, and spice-wise, I gave it a 4. And so this series is a series, there's 3 books in the series, and this one, she wrote it right after she wrote This Man, and it really does follow the sequence and the angst of This Man series, and I absolutely loved it, but at the same time, I was like, this is some sick and twisted, this relationship is just sick, but at the same time, I was in it for every single moment. And so this first book is called One Night Promised, and this is about Livy and Miller. And so Livy notices Miller that as soon as she works in a coffee shop. I feel like it's her first day, or she's just learning how to make coffee, or like whatever. She's like working at this coffee shop, and this really dapper, debonair, really well dressed, clearly wealthy gentleman comes into the coffee shop, orders a cup of coffee from her. She's trying to work out this new coffee machine. She hasn't got it quite figured out, but she hasn't got it quite figured out, but by the time he comes in, she does. But she's so flustered by this guy that when she makes the cup of coffee, he like says, like, this is like, he leaves her a note and says, this is the worst cup of coffee that I've ever tasted, or whatever. Like, you should be doing something else, M. And she's like, she thinks that the M is like, she's calling him her a moron, or she doesn't know what. And she's like, how could I have embarrassed myself, like, with this guy? Like, I was doing great all day long, and now, like, I've done this. At any rate, she runs into Miller more, and she finds that he is a mystery. And he is intriguing, and she is so attracted to him, and she wants to embark on something. And I think she like works as a caterer as well, and so she has these various events. She runs into him at a later time. He recognizes her, he knows her, and he's like, I'm bad news. I'm not good for you. I'm not the guy you want, but I cannot stay away from you. You clearly cannot stay away from me. So what I can offer you is one night only. One night of bliss and passion, but there is no strings attached, nothing more. And if you accept, I will give that to you. But if you can't, we need to walk away now. And she has a decision to make. Is she going to take up that one night? And he says, I only have one rule. And that one rule is that there is nothing personal to be shared other than our bodies and passion. What does she do? And so she decides that she's going to take him up on this night, and the mystery ensues from there. There's this mysterious other woman named Cassie that's always around. We're like, is this a love triangle situation? Is Cassie involved with Miller? We don't know what Cassie's role is, but we know that she's catty and bitchy and nasty. And Livy acts very insecure and childish, and we see that Livy has a temper, and she flies off the handle really quickly and jumps to a lot of conclusions, and she storms off. She does a lot of things that I typically don't like for heroines to do, which is she sees something, she thinks she knows what's going on, she storms off, he chases her, she won't talk to him, she refuses, she turns her phone off, she cuts off all communication, he chases until he like forces her, or somebody else like explains to her whatever she saw wasn't what she thought it was, and then she was like, oh, sorry, and then like, everything's supposed to move on. So it's like that kind of stuff, but in here it works, but at the same time, like after 3 books of it, you're like, you're fucking making me nuts, Livy. Like, you got to stop with the child. You're not 12 years old. Just stand your ground, stand and have a conversation, and if you're gonna decide that you're out and it doesn't work for you, then take a hike, get out, and don't do the back and forth wishy-washy thing. But that, like, it's a lot of like, break up, get back together, break up, get back together, fight, fuss, fight, fuck, do, it's a lot. So, but it's angsty. The angst is 5. Angst is through the roof, for sure. So I gave this an overall 5, angst 5, and spice 3. Again, because this is a series, I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is One Night Denied. You've got a cast of characters. You have William from the past. So we're starting to figure out who William is. And we know that Livy loves him in a non-sexual way, but she loves him. And Miller, and what's going on with them, what's happening with them. And she loves him, but she doesn't. He deceived her. She needs to work through the deceit. It's very angsty. She can't decide what she wants or what she will accept. So it's about overcoming demands, accepting help, fighting through it together, being there for one another, being honest, not jumping to conclusions, there's a lot of mental health, OCD that is addressed in here, past traumas that are addressed in here. Now, there's one thing that comes out about Livy that Livy does, and it kind of like makes you like go like, you did what? You found what? And you did what? Like, and I don't want to reveal it because I don't want to spoil it, but like she makes really childish decisions, and those childish decisions get her and the people that she loves in trouble. But she also is like a force to be reckoned with. Like, she doesn't stop to think like, should I do that? Should I run into that situation? She just goes after what she wants with a fierceness and a passion that rivals any other, and as a result, she doesn't recognize until she's in the situation that conceivably she could be in great danger, right? She didn't even think about that. She was just like, I need to do X, Y, Z. So she's impulsive. Like, she off the cuff just does whatever she thinks she's gonna do. She's got this best friend, Gregory. She's putting Gregory at risk. Like, there's just a bunch of drama that's going on. So again, I gave this a 5 for angst. I gave it a 5 overall because I really liked it, and I gave it a 3 for spice. And then the final book in the series is One Night Unveiled. This is book 3. And I'm going to say, by the time we got here, like, Livy, like, this is an unhealthy relationship. Like, I was going, like, she's so easily frustrated. She has such a temper. She acts so impulsively that she gets herself and other people in trouble. Then she later regrets it. Then she expects Miller to forgive her. But then, you know, like, she got pissed off at this dude and she went into his, like, Armani and, like, you know, Ferragamo, like, just amazing designer. And she cut up his entire wardrobe of clothes. I'd have been like, girl, you got to get it worked out. You have to work out this anger and this aggression that you are harboring. Like, either you want to be with this guy or you don't, and either it's going to work or it's not, but it's very unhealthy and very, very damaging. So, and there's a note that I put in here. I was like, he's got OCD and she's a fucking nut. Like, they are just nutters together. Like, but it's like in an endearing way, but at the same time, they're crazy enough together. But then towards the end, like, it gets sort of worked out and they sort of like calm down and it gets a little bit better. But she can be frantic and irrational. And this, it came out, like, you saw it building and building in many of these books. And like the first quarter, 3/4 of this book, you're like, chick, you need to settle down. Settle down. She's doing a lot because maybe this is not the right relationship for you. But by the last sort of quarter of the book or a little bit more of the book, then things like sort of settled down and you were just like, okay, like now things are healthier, you guys are in a better place. But a little bit earlier on there on, I was like, I don't know what's going on because this is not healthy and not good. But I was there for every minute of it. So it was drama and I loved it. And I love to be all up in the drama. So I gave it a 5, and angst, I gave it a 5, and spice, I gave it a 3. So I absolutely loved. So if I were going to rank her series so far, and I know you guys have told me that the Brit is really good and the Resurrected, like that one, I haven't read it yet. Like that's, I'll get to it. But so far what I've read, I really loved the This Man series, and I absolutely loved this one because it was all the drama and then some. And I didn't say it was healthy, and a lot of things that I read are not necessarily healthy, but they are fun. So I know, and that classifies as that. So you guys, that's all that I have for today. I hope that you find some gems there. I know some of you guys are from the UK and have these on your Kindle and want to get to them. So hopefully this encourages you to move them up your list and read them sooner because they're fun and they're good reads, and I enjoyed them as long as they are not unsettling to you in terms of some of the contents that are in, you know, a particular book. So please check them out before you do that. And you guys, that's all that I have for today. Please do me a favor and like the video. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe. It's getting me closer and closer to 1,000. I'll be there very soon, and it's all through you guys, and I really appreciate you so, so much. And that's all that I have for today. So I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.